Use your sword if there is an emergency. Right now, I don't care about the truth being revealed. Go around here for a few rounds. Then Ake said, I've given up time and time again. You didn't even stop. But Long Yu loudly announced, it will never end. Say and continue to throw the freight, rushing straight to the striker of the photographer. When Long Yu Yin's kick came close, suddenly the photographer disappeared in front of him. Long Vu was stunned. Even trying to catch up with 6 adventurers, they asked with their eyes wide open, Dodge in the air Sao, where are you? In the moment, suddenly appeared next to Long Vu Yin. When she's confused, then immediately grabbed the leg. Or this dirt. That her legs were immobilized. You can't get it back. Then the photographer threw her forward. Make Long Vu sound shout 7 bars. This one blow, it made her kiss deep into the ground. A floor beam punctured a hole. Long Vu sound lies motionless. It hasn't stopped yet. The photographer kept grabbing her leg and threw it straight to the ceiling. Then the photographer sped up. When Long Yu Yan opened his eyes, he was amazed when that new photographer came along. She threw her punch out. Then he can dodge. Back throw down the punch. Long Yu Yin fell straight to the ground. The fall shook the ground, causing the smog to cloud the floor. Make other students raise their shoulders. What are they screaming about? Long Vu Yin has taken the upper hand. Suddenly, I was knocked down. The other name said yes. At the beginning, the photographer could not turn back. While trying to think on one side, Dragon's attack was very fast and powerful. But there's a gap in it. After being captured by the photographer, immediately in the upper hand, that the moves last forever. It's hard to blame Long Vu. It's hard to stop. On the photographic side, he continues to rush in now. Grab the ankles of Long Vu Yin, and then threw her on the miserable ground. And stood up there looking down at her coolly. And Long Wyan is lying motionless under the rubble, breathing like a dog running outside. The corners of the eyes began to wobble. People are surprised to ask each other. Long Yu Yin gave up. No longer able to fight back, completely defeated. Her physical strength is her strength. Disdainful photographer says heaven and earth are vast, countless fake strength. Only you dare to be arrogant. I will teach you a little today. Take a little less personality. If we don't act, someone else will teach you. I'm going to turn around and leave. Long Fu Yin sat up and wiped his tears. Wait until you play the game. No matter what, we will agree. The photographer replied, just a little away from me. Then he turned and left coldly. Long Wyan sat breathing without breathing in the thick smoke. She's naked, thinking why. You can't even look at me for a moment. In the eyes of the photographer were not even a speck of dust. When the photographer goes to his companions, try to get together with 6 really cool adventures. Directly turn people away. That's cool, she said. But I don't understand the jewel. Let's get people a little further away. Whatever she asks, she will. In return, I will be different. I told you. We all laughed and the photographer told us to go. And quickly, everyone left. On the way home, Long Yu sadly thought of what the photographer said. A little further away from me later. As far as possible. Ever since I was a kid, no one has said that to me. I can't believe you humiliated me like that. He was the first man to beat me. compared to him in reverse. The more I want to know, the more I want to know more about him. Who is he after all? I want to be strong, so that he can look directly at me. But they told me to stay away from Ra. If you touch him again, it's no different than humiliating yourself. Go back to where Long Yu Yin opened the door. The body goes in. Why do you think people hate you so much? Maybe we shouldn't kick a foot. But it's definitely time for training. He insulted me first. Suddenly in front of the dragon dance sound, his dung lake is waiting. To see her. He called the sound. Long Vu Yin, startled, asked Dung Lake, "Why are you back here?" The lake seemed interested in asking, "I heard you were beaten by a photographer. Then the wound Ra Sao. Then we bring the best medicine to heal me as." Long Vu sound annoyed, the face said, "We have angioplasty that can be injured. On the contrary, you dare to come to my hospital. I will throw you out." The lake said, "Don't be like that. It hurts me to see this form. You should put the medicine on quickly. Let me handle the name of the regent. I will definitely deal with it. When he was in the Holy Spirit, then we can teach him." I didn't expect two old men. Nanmin Tianhai and Kier Emperor prevented. Long Vu Yin was surprised to ask. The late Dung said again, "There is something I am assured of. Next time the photographer won't get out of my hands." Make Long Yu Yin angry. "Who told you to find the photographer?" "I don't blame him for thinking I sent you." But the lake hurriedly told him no. "I didn't say you sent me." To make Long Yu sound crazy, shout, "Less talk. Mess up the name of your trash. You rely on family power. But borrow the hero. What else can we do?" Me and the road. If the main road is lost, Long Vu Yin. We lost nothing to say. If you are good, find yourself a photographer. To fight without the power of heaven. You can beat him. I will serve you immediately. Sorry, your expression is a coward. Make the lake as bold as butter. Long Yu Yin told me to leave quickly. If I ever let you see me again, I will destroy you that time. The lake was going to pull the trigger, but Long Yu yelled out loud, "Get out." Dung Lake did not dare to ask Long Vu Yin, "What are you good at?" "I hate that you are the heir. In 7th place in the world of Dragon Seal, only. Only marry me. You have a chance to be the first heir. Don't see your face without it." This made him eat a stone straight into his chest, flying high into the sky, and Long Fu Yin breathing, rosy, standing still. People then think about losing with the photographer. This time it's physical. Lost so thoroughly, there is not even a feeling of disobedience. I wonder where your arrogance is, Dragon Ball. Sao, you can let your friends step on your head like that. Can't admit defeat. It's absolutely impossible to lose. Thinking of this, her tears began to come out. Long Yu Yin rushed to wipe his tears. Right now, it was like the moon suddenly appeared behind us. Long Yu Yin discovered that someone was coming. I was surprised to turn around. I asked why you came back. Smiley said, "Yes, we are here. I haven't seen you in a long time." Long Yu Yin saw her and was upset. "If you love the girl, you killed the master and your face came here. If not the master's last words, I will kill you soon." But as the moon calmly replied, "I told you, master, it wasn't me who killed her. For the fate has come. You should borrow my hand to end your fate." The master obtained the body transmission of the master without, even though 2vi is only the celestial realm. But in the dance gods have a very high status. He plans to be the head of the church. Her body was forced to die. Long Yu sound cannot be heard near the female voice. No matter how you explain it, I will not be fooled by you. It's like the moon sighing a little. Then say the sound. You are the one with the closest relationship to me. Inside this dance god, your personality is strong. The future is very difficult. There are many things waiting for you to fully wake up. By then, it's too late. You can't get it back until then. Why should I suffer like that? Hearing that, Long Yu Yin angrily responded like, Nuyet, you curse me. But she just laughed and said it wasn't a curse. This is destiny. In this world, there's an AI that can change fate. It reminded her of the photographer. Suddenly, Long Yuan silly person asked the fate. The real show. You learn the arts from the master's place. Then you will die. But as the moon laughed softly, we all have to die. After studying acting, I understood the suffering in the master's heart. I also understand that statement of the Lord. Mercy, weakness, irrigation of all things, children immaculate. All creation has no basis. From ancient Kim, it's just a blink of an eye. Only the one who breaks the idiosyncrasy, only then can we make everything real. It made Long Vu ask again. What are you talking about? Think about learning the arts. Will all become so incomprehensible talk, Sao? It's like laughing right now. In the future, someone will explain everything to you. I have to go and you can take care of yourself. Sometimes we have to be stronger. It's hard to hide the weakness in your heart. If she won, she said and left. Long Vu Yin full of questions. Think of it like the Sao Moon School. If I let this out, she will definitely die. She said this. Give me at least proof. She is so pure in her heart. Maybe the master's death has something else. I thought it was cold. Keep it a secret for you. But I still can't forgive you. On the photographic side, right now, in the room, he's feeding the jasmine. Sitting on one side with arms folded. There is no spirit stone. The reward of the Holy Spirit. I can get it a month later. But we're about to break through the sky. Christmas is about to become a spirit. My animal goddess also needs spirit stones. There are no spirit stones in the Dragon Kingdom. There seems to be no way. Training has to think differently to get more spirit stones. Suddenly outside the door someone knocked. He said and went. Laughter motto, haha. I said I haven't seen you in a few days. I made a big noise again. But he said, I'm not looking for trouble. But trouble always comes to me. Lady Long Yu Yin really bothered to die. Questioning phrase, ask, that dragon warrior, doesn't he like you? Like a fecal regent cleaning up her grandmother. That woman thinks she's talented. I met someone better than her. So she's over and over again. To trouble me. We just have to act. Or she thought no one would fight her back. Take a breath and remind. But the best recent. You should be careful. You touch a lot of people now. It's not just the Dragon Ball. We get the news. The geniuses of the East. Everyone is paying attention to you. Previously, their focus was on the Dragon Ball. But behind the power of the dragon, it's the dragon seal. They are also unscrupulous. But now you're in their eyes. There's no good context. The photographer told me to understand. As long as it's not life-threatening. Even if they are humiliated. It's just a small thing. The battle of the temple is nothing. That makes the silence. Immediately asked, "Are you going to the training camp again?" Then the photographer insists. Of course, I have to go. They quickly went to the training camp. Title Introduction Theo. This is the kind of training we're going to this time. He is the ancestor of the Vu god, paving the way for field training. In this devil's land, there is a great love. Hunting for one. You can get a piece of soul. This demon can use all kinds of treasures to change. Only thing, the devil can only go on 2 days a month. The soul that comes out will melt away. You can't put it in a space ring. The photographer was surprised. You can only change it on the spot. Confirmation title is not wrong. You can only use a bag in it. Each time the training is over, you'll have to exchange all the ghosts to be hunted. One soul can exchange 30 spirit stones. Of course, I love spirit stone. Any air conditioner can be exchanged. Let's talk about it. So the whole group came closer. There is a table in front of me. It is like the Holy Spirit. The province also has a ranking. So we're going to come up and talk about it. I was surprised to say Long Vu was ranked 10th. Turn to the photographer. 2 days ago, she killed 30,000 souls. 2 days can kill so much. And then people think, but she didn't fight you back. You can't kill more than SAO. 1,000 unicorns can be exchanged for 30 spirit stones. 1,000 can be exchanged for 300,000 and 30,000. Then, when 6 happy adventures, the motto turns to laughter. Reminds you to be a little careful. The ghetto is even more dangerous. Compared to the Holy Spirit, it's not just soul love. Others can also go out. Block your way. More will be transported to different places. There is no way to help each other. So be careful. Confirm your understanding and let's go. The motto says go around the circle, that's the entrance. 6 adventurers decided to take off their clothes and go into the water. It says you don't need to undress. When they jumped down, then the 2 old men behind him laughed and said they were new. Haha, I hope they can go well. So all 3 of them went down. Underwater cyclone current. The lake also appears here. He looked seriously. I told my subordinates to remember their shapes. Right? Speak up with peace of mind, my lord. Cho also realized. We've all reached heaven. Dealing with them is not easy. Deng laughed and ordered to come in. Immediately, the subordinates quickly launched. Meanwhile, the flower is also in the back looking at Deng Lake. He lifted his lip. It's ridiculous. It is hard to protect yourself. And his subordinates poked at so many enemies. It's really less of a bother. Then glanced at the back and said. They also went inside. Look at the situation and act. The officers immediately took orders to launch. In the meantime, the Tianhai men also knew the situation and sighed. Say the name of that fire. They know how to cause trouble. But turn to the royal. Go to this hell. There are many people following that. The queen recommended us. Maybe we can help out a little bit. The Tianhai male student sighed in front of his eyes and didn't he need it. Just mess with them. Don't mess too big. There's a problem at the bottom. We'll take action. On the photographic side, now he's inside the demon world. Landed on a beam. Look at the scenery around you and feel it. The devil is less than the Holy Spirit. Lots of scenes. Suddenly, the photographer, to see the souls flying in the sky, cry out bitterly. I see that the photographer also recognizes these things. Maybe it's all spiritual love. The soul discovered by the photographer. They screamed furiously and opened their mouths wide. Straight to him. I saw the whole gang coming here. It feels so good. And then he fell in love with the tiger. Phosphorescent gas structure high when the aggressive soul lovers rush in. Then the photographer immediately used the technique of pure light to attack a great source of violence that shines forth. Go to the soul lovers. Make them immediately fly in color. In the blink of an eye in the sky, it's a thunderous explosion like a shining sun. In that blinding smoke, in turn, the pieces of the soul fall out. After that, countless souls were poured out. The photographer below, holding a bag to reach these unicorn souls. After harvesting a large bag, the photographer is quite satisfied. It feels so easy to deal with. SAO people on the board 2 days ago obtained. There's a little bit like that. So he put his hand in his pocket. Try out a piece of soul. Look at these ghosts. Maybe the spirit of love condensed. Even the light-hearted. It can't be destroyed either. You can't put it in a ring. How to hold tens of thousands of blocks. Try it out immediately. When the soul touches the ring, it is immediately dissolved. It makes you itchy. Should prepare a large bag. A little soul is not strong. I believe in 6 adventures, and the motto can be easily coped with. And then he announced, now we should go public with the murder. And then he opened his mouth. Release the light of a bold principle. It scares the spirits nearby. La Village. So in the sky, there's a series of explosions, accompanied by 7 bar screams. 5 hours later, the photographer has collected 1,000 pieces of the ghost. The soul pieces. It's merged into one big piece. Put a large piece in the bag and complain. It's only half a day. I've collected 10-20 pieces of big unicorns. Say not. I'm going to bump up a few steps on the board. Unfortunately, I can't bring it out. This thing makes a soul soldier definitely not bad. But a big piece of unicorn soul. You can exchange 30 stones. But the spirit stone is what I need the most. He carried his soul and looked up and said, around here, there seems to be no soul. It's so soulful to run away. Suddenly, I felt something stop. Now a guy in black with a sword on his back, looking at the photographer. He came back to rate at least 5 points. This guy suddenly appeared. What does it mean to be angry at us? Then the fire broke out. Look at this moment. Black girl in the sky. It also emits bright gas. And everyone nearby noticed this. It wasn't the most powerful weapon last time. They're facing each other, the panda. That's the AI. Another guy said it was a photographer. Emerging genius. I didn't realize why. The prince entrusted me with. I've been watching him for a long time. The man asked who the princess was. Make a guy sigh and tell him to stop making noise. See what they finally want to do. Such a regressive expression. I was afraid that I would make you feel threatened. The grave here asked. You are the SAO photographer. The photographer confirmed that. Who are you? A dancing grave. It was cold, and I told him I was a dancer. Listen to this name. Make the photographer realize he's first on the charts. Ask what's wrong. Suddenly, A crowd of people in the distance called out, "This brother's grave. Brother Dong's grave." This call makes the grave frown hard to understand. It was as if he had met an idol. Shout at your brother's grave. We have admired Brother Mirong for a long time. Special. I have more respect for the way you treat people. He looked at the photographer. But there are some new people. I don't respect your grave. So the photographer's name says, your grave is a pile of dog shit. He said soon. He will trample my brother Mirong under his feet. Make the photographer look stupid. Here's still screaming at us. The more you don't obey him, the more likely you are to be his opponent. The woman dancing here glanced at the photographer. There really is this. He said he looked up at me. This energy screen makes the photographer stand. Down to the ground. The ground is also broken. The photographer was confused. I think it's just gas. It's cracked my body. The two Kier firefighters are acting on their own. Dare to find an excuse to hurt yourself. Speak up, Mirong dance. With your intelligence. I won't believe the words. Where is the little man? I heard that, and Mirong Wu asked again, what you mean is that brother blames you? He said he put out his hand. Air transport, I oppress regressive. That he continues to be oppressed even more. The ground is broken. She thinks what I say without being able to hear it. Fearful of me in the future. So we haven't been to heaven yet. It should be weak. No more faces. The photographer tried hard. To make a grave with a cold face. I asked you what expression this is. Not served SAO. I have to teach you well today. In the temple to honor his predecessor. That is, he opened his mouth and screamed for an hour, making a fool of himself. Realize the danger before the strong. There are countless slashes coming. Hurry up and open your mouth. To radiate the light of the bold principle. Immediately, the power of the photographer launches Ra. Against his technique. Lam Mo Dung Dance looked at. Think, this is how he deals with the soul. The range is indeed large enough. You can kill faster than me. This is absolutely not possible. Right now, the source of the regalia's violence has been breached. By Mirong's slash. The dance is immediately caught up in the smoke out. The people nearby were horrified. He said it wouldn't cause death. The prince didn't tell me to make him die. The name next to the question. Who is the Prince Charming after all? But Kier's still watching the war. Say, don't be okay. Here, I'll roll a few rounds in the dirt. He was injured on the shoulder by the blow. It makes the photographer look a lot worse. Look at the dance grave. And now he's out his hand. The Buddha's soul immediately flew back into his hands. Mirong Wu said, see, that's all your power is. Even the destiny has not yet been reached. But you rely on cheating. They stole so many souls. Photographer grinds teeth, asking cheating SAO. But Mirong continued with her lips. These souls should not belong to you. We will confiscate it. This made the photographer very upset that. Mirong's voice hugged his arm, trembling with pain. Mirong Wu continued. This monk seems a little disgruntled. It is useless, you know. Then you should do SAO to honor your predecessor. Don't waste your good intentions. He said. He threw his hand down. It amazes the photographer. A giant hand of energy came. It's a blast. After that fight, Mirong Vu collected his hands. He silenced the observer below. Look at the ruins below. But he still feels like he hasn't hit. I think he just changed shape. Maybe I love 01 person. You can use 2 spirits. He thought he was going to fly away. What the fuck must be occultation? Let's see how I catch you. He flew around looking for a photographer, but he's using love photos now. Silently hiding in a corner. Thinking silently. It took over 100 years to reach heaven. This life has not been 2 years to the door of heaven. But not fast enough. At this celestial institute, I can't hold my own destiny. In the Long Ken area, want to get promoted quickly. It is important to have training resources. It doesn't matter whether you're talented or hardworking. By Spirit Stone, that the competitors around. I won't regret it at any cost. Prevent us from obtaining cultivation resources. Power is not enough. Even self-respect can't protect. This time, the grave danced after searching for a while. They say it's gone. Unless you've used some kind of space strategy. The provocateur rushed from behind saying, the boy is running, but he hasn't run far enough to catch up. She glanced at him and slowly walked over. Give this guy a straight punch in the chest. Made him breathe, hugging his chest in pain, screaming. Body collapsed to the ground trembling. The cold voice says I don't like that boy. I also hate being controlled by others. The first guy glared furiously at me. He made me wonder if he even dared to stare at me. Immediately threw a kick that spun all the jaws. Fell to the ground screaming pathetically. Mirong Yu put his foot on his head. Then humiliate in the face of the enemy must respect. Understand? The head of the nail hurriedly said, Brother Mirong, I'm sorry. He made the devil dance and said that was right. Then he took the soul bag and asked, I just killed a few like this shit. Here lies at her feet trembling and flattering. I laughed at the ghosts on people. Brother, take it all. It makes me laugh, haha. I like to say that, right? But Mirong Vu has not let go. Learn the dog's bark, and I'll let you go. The first man who glanced at. It makes Mirong dance uncomfortable, put his feet on the ground. So Kier's name is just Theo barking. Let Vu enjoy laughing. Haha, very good praise barking very similar. While the photographer stares from a distance. Think of this name, Mirong Yu. It was even more sinister than the dragon boat in his previous life, if we don't use our escape techniques. Fall into his hands only worse than that. But the time for spoilage is limited. Moving is also slow. We must run fast. Use the magic technique, directly run away. Think about here. Instantaneous detachment embodied launching a runaway circuit. He's hurling a raft as fast as the wind. She looked at the grave and laughed. It's all so fast. I want to run away from my hand. It's not that simple. Mirong Dance hurriedly launched to follow the photographer behind. Then he said, wait. Why waste time chasing him? If you have a heart. I want to hunt souls like that. Just keep killing. Get 10 more souls. Brother will come to deal with you later. Here, when you plug it in, you launch it. He was surprised. I haven't caught up with you for so long. I found a good fire. He wants to win his soul again. You want to take advantage of me, dream baby. Analysis outside the tomb of Dongwu Ra. Surely not a few people are targeting me. My strength is too weak now. Even if you catch a lot of ghosts, it is easy to be robbed by others. The old man didn't show up. Prove this fight, they tacitly agree. If that's the case, it's not as good as going out. I don't know what the 6 words are. The devil's field is so wide, but even if 7 defeat, you can't let your life be in danger. I'd better not be standing here wasting my time. He said. He immediately plunged down the door, zoom out. The others were surprised to ask, "It's not a SAO photographer. One day has gone out. I can't see his name on the board." Another name laughed. I heard it inside. The devil is hunting the soul. He was beaten up for a fight. The whole soul was stolen. People ask you why you know. He laughed and said he knew. This boy also seems to know what has not yet been achieved. Heaven is still inside. They're just beaten up. Others follow. Who said he's guilty of so many people? Crazy is paying the price. Murong Yu was the first genius of the previous class. The photographer messed with him. I really want to die, even if I had to fight him once. A dance is not a dance. Same with the previous class. SAO luggage, etc. Someone sighed and said, and finally, the best genius in this class. There will be countless competitors. Everyone will do their best to stop him from taking the spirit stones, despite ranking on the Holy Spirit. Not enough to stop it. Photographer, but in the devils of the land and the untamed fire, he doesn't get any benefit. Come here and think about it. This field training is really out of fun. Not expected. The competition between students is so bad. Without spiritual stones, there is no way to practice. I can't sit down either. The field training is over. The outside world can't either. Not to heaven. To go out is to find death. He thought of, you can cure Nan's disease to get spirit stones. I can't trust you enough to run out. On the one hand, it doesn't mean well. A lover can become strong at any time. No matter what, God can always come. I have to improve my strength quickly. Can deal with it. The future is planned or not planned. There's no way to use spirit stones to raise your power. Then change the way. The way is over. I don't want to either. Let others know the existence of the dream. There is something in front of me that can only help me. We're moving in the middle of the world right now. Inside the late lamb's cottage. She's practicing. Evaporating screen. She was sweating like she had just taken a shower. Then she saw the photographer appear in front of her. That's amazing. He told me the teacher had been waiting for a long time. The photographer turned around and replied, it wasn't too long. The government is not very safe. Fortunately, we can easily get in. Then he bowed his head and said, there are 7 feasts, please forgive me. She laughed and said, I've been a long time. There was no value to them anymore. But if we're dead, I'm afraid it will cause a big shock. Normal people don't dare to do that. The photographer asked why. I don't know if my body is any better. Try to sweat. The clothes are wet, and the whole body is steaming hot. Smiling, thank you for your interest. It's much better to take antibiotics. Climb in a surprised voice. And then they're both embarrassed. The photographer looked baffled and thought why he hadn't returned yet. Suddenly, he appeared to ask the photographer, "Why are you here again?"